When you actually do conference planning or event planning, you do actually think about topics, content for the day that actually will cause people to think differently, to actually provoke thought. When we sat down, the programming team really said, how can we actually make AdRev 2017 not just be about people leaving with thinking, with thoughts about how they would do their business differently, but would actually take action. So make a decision, whether it was the diversity topic or it was to discussions of data. How could we cause everyone here to really go back to their office and behave differently going forward? That was sort of the aspiration of this group when we set this up. The whole day has really been for us about provoking the conversations, but provoking them all the way through, do something different. Starting with the conversation on consumers' attention. There is a fight for consumers' attention, but we shouldn't just talk about it. We should realize that if you try to put infinite content in front of finite consumers, that equation always nets out to zero. You cannot keep doing that. So we have to get more relevant, more connected, more aware of what our consumers' needs are. And it does start with using the tools available to you. So I was excited to see Peter Horan and crew really dive into the consumer attention, and then really excited to see us tackle this discussion of the ad tech tax. The toll gate of technology. And I'm glad that this group really took on the question of, is that a toll gate or just a cost of doing business now that I have to accept? And I couldn't do any better than the panelists who actually suggested, when you think of the supply chain in other industries, we don't actually ask questions about all of the things that enable you getting food on your table at any given day. Since the panel, Lumascape and Terry Kawaja have launched the Bananascape. So the Banana Lumascape has now been launched here at AdRev 2017. And while funny, the analogy is a really powerful one because it speaks to all the parts that actually make it possible for us to get fresh food on the table. And yet still, there isn't this constant challenging that these are value propositions, that the enablement of getting that fresh fruit to me is valuable. Why are we beating ourselves up? It was great to hear Vivek Shah on the panel with Randy Rothenberg talk about the fact that as an industry, we attack ourselves too often. We attack our competitors, we attack the people we work with, we attack the customers that we have, and we're constantly criticizing ourselves instead of celebrating so much of what we've accomplished. There was a moment where we were questioning whether digital was relevant. Remember, many of us in this room have been part of the programmatic industry when we were trying to explain to people why the industry was going to automate. And now that we're past those things, what we need to do, as Randy said is, or Seth said, let's get real, let's get certified, let's actually work with the people that we want to work with. Maybe it's easier than we really think it is. I thought about the takeaways I had from today, and it feels to me like it's really simple. Less may be the best path to more. This was real for PubMatic. Rajiv started this morning, he showed a slide that is now a moment of pride for us, but 6 or 7 quarters ago was really hard to look at. We had an NPS score, Net Promoter Score, across our customer base of -19. Now, one of the things that we did to get from that to +39 was very difficult, but we had to make a decision that every single publisher was not asking us to be a partner. Many of the publishers that we worked with, and we use this word partner, they did not think of us that way, and we were not then therefore the best platform for them to use. And that's hard. So we actually resigned publishers. Less turned out to be more for our business over the course of last year. But how many of us in our working relationships maybe need to consider that decision as well? Should you as a publisher have 7 header bidding partners? Is that the best path to actually drive programmatic sales? Should you be working with multiple companies that are doing monetization for you? Is that really the right way to go? What are the characteristics of the partners you should have? And why don't you actually make the tough decision to work with them? They should be independent. They should lead with innovation. They shouldn't compete with you for the business you run. They cannot be an exchange. They cannot arbitrage on the ignorance you have between your relationship and a buyer or your relationship and a seller. So those characteristics are what I heard discussed throughout the course of today. I heard us talk about the fact that the relationships that you work with have to be more meaningful. So choose those partners wisely. Stop using the word carelessly. Move away from casual conversations and flirting relationships and make commitments. Randy challenged the room. IAB members, will you become tag certified? And even though I sit on the IAB board, as a full disclaimer, I don't want to be an ad for that, but isn't that part of what the standards body is supposed to do, is get us all using MRC as a viewability standard, being part of the trusted group, trusted accountability group, so that we actually stop having to defend poor ad quality and poor inventory quality. Isn't the decision just that easy? I think at the end of the day, we need to stop being tactical and stop having tactical conversations, because that's what we do too often when we do these conferences. Our goal today was to actually talk about tactics as they relate to strategic planning. So it does mean that you have to do something different today. Whether it's the diversity topic, which is I'm going to do something different. I love the fact that a hallway conversation with Gene Howling was, I took things away today that I plan to bring back to my executive team. I love the fact that executives in the room were willing to say, here's what I'm doing differently to make it matter. We need to do that when it's related to data. We need to do it related to our platform partners. We need to do it related to the places we choose to buy inventory. Why are we buying from certain sources just because they're cheap? We need to choose it and think about it in terms of the people that we truly want to be in our business and part of helping build up our relationship with consumers for a long period of time. If we manage to do even one of those three things, cause you to think about less may be a path to more, cause you to think about moving from vendor relationship to partners, cause you to think that maybe you need to stop just talking about your challenges in your business, but actually do something different when you get back to the office tomorrow morning, then we think Ad Revenue 2017 was a success. And I do want to again give you a round of applause for hanging out with us all day long. Thank you so very much for making our conference a success. We really enjoyed being here with you all day today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.